All right, guys, so anxiety is a big issue in the world we live in today. Just from a high stress levels, there's a lot of comparison online where you're worried about what's going to happen in the future. A lot of things going on just with coronavirus and other things that we don't realize we're not sure what's going to happen in our future. So we live really living in that fear of the future zone. And you know, anxiety and depression, they're similar, but they are different. Depression is really just living in the past. You know, something in the past that just won't go away, and we keep thinking about it and dwelling on it. And at certain points, it's like it's not even real, and it isn't real anymore. It's gone. We can't do anything about it. But it almost like it makes its own story in our mind, and we become depressed about it. Well, anxiety is the same thing, but we're thinking about the future. You know, it's amazing to sometimes think about the future and get excited about it and hopeful for it and plan for it and set goals and all those things and have visions. But at the same time, when you're living in the future in terms of what if this happens, it creates a ton of anxiety. And so for me personally, I've experienced a lot of anxiety over my life. I took something called Accutane back in high school, and it created hormonal issues which affect my neurotransmitters and everything else. And I literally had anxiety at it's just called a biochemical level, where it wasn't just something I was worried about in the future, but I would get panic attacks. My body would just like feel like it was closing in on me. I'd get hot flashes almost at the same time. And so those anxieties are real, but I want to give you what I do to help with it, what I've done over the years and what I do now. So the very first thing that I highly recommend that you really need to change when it comes to anxiety, and I'm not going to talk about the emotional part of it yet, but I will talk about that. But the number one thing I start with is your diet. It actually plays a huge role. That you can handle a whole lot more stresses when you don't have a poor diet, when you're not inflamed all the time. Inflammation will mess up the gut, will cause serotonin issues and neurotransmitter issues, which will cause anxiety. So here's what I say is a non-inflammatory diet. Now, obviously, nutrition needs to be individualized. I highly recommend getting food allergy testing and knowing what's good for you personally. However, as a whole, start with the non-inflammatory eating plan. If you want that, simply ask us for the non-inflammatory eating plan. We'll get you connected with that. But it's low sugar, it's low carbs, it's high or low grainy, carby type stuff. It's better protein, healthy fats, and good cruciferous, healthy vegetables that keep inflammation down in our bodies. It's also to really truly have a non-inflammatory diet, you need to know what your body is responding to in terms of allergies and IgG responses. So it's very important to have a food allergy test as well. If you want one of those, just connect with us. We'll get you set up with that. You can do that from all over the country, which is cool. So that's number one, is change your diet. Number two is get out and move. I can tell you that when I'm not exercising, when I've gone a couple days or even a week without exercising in the past, it has created tons of just fatigue and anxiety. My body just isn't moving. Movement is the key to life. Truthfully, we all see this. When we sit for about an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you get up, you're fatigued, you just feel yuck, you feel anxious, right? And so that not moving will actually cause anxiety. So exercise, get out and do a high intensity, short duration exercise, which will pump up growth hormone, it'll pump up testosterone, it'll get your hormones moving, which helps you feel better. Okay, that's number two, is get out and exercise on a daily basis. You know, sometimes before my second shift in the afternoon, I'll actually go and do a second exercise, not because I'm trying to get more fit, because I know it's gonna get my brain moving and get blood flowing and get rid of any kind of anxieties that I might have about the rest of the day, because I'm not, maybe not have as much energy because of whatever reason, right? So exercise is a huge tool. Every study right now in the medical studies, from exercise versus medications, exercise has won in terms of depression and anxiety. So that's number two. Number three, I do this in the moment. So if I'm feeling anxious, like let's say right now I'm feeling anxiety, I'll do this. I'll do a deep breath in. So breathe in through your nose. You're breathing in through your nose. You're pushing your diaphragm down and your belly out, okay? So you're breathing in through your nose, and then you hold that for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then you're breathing out like that, like you're breathing out through a straw. And I'll do this. I'll say I breathe in calmness. So right, so I'll breathe in. So I'll say I'm breathing in calmness as I'm breathing in, and then out loud I'll say I breathe out anxiety. I breathe in calmness, I breathe out stress. I breathe in calmness, I breathe out fear. I breathe in joy, I breathe out fear. I breathe in love, I breathe out fear. I breathe in calmness. I'll just do those things for about 6 to 7 times, and you will find, and the studies have actually shown this, Harvard actually did a study on this that showed that you will actually go back into a parasympathetic state, which is your relax and digest food state, by doing that exercise. So when you feel that overwhelm, sorry guys, I know there's a lot of noises, hopefully this is still sounding good, but when you go into that overwhelm, that's what you do. You do that deep breathing in and blow out like you're blowing out a straw, and say I breathe in calmness, I breathe out anxiety. It really does help. That's a great technique that I love to use. Hey, so the other stuff I do is sometimes I just take a nap. You know, I talk a lot about sleeping, and I think that 30 minutes to an hour a day can have a huge impact on your ability to handle the stress of life and anxiety. So take your daily naps. That's a big one. Now here's the supplements that I'll take to help with anxiety. Number one, across the board, I recommend for everyone, and I actually do it as well, is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha by the Wellness Way is a high potency herb that helps us actually calm the nervous system. It brings the body back into homeostasis. It's an adaptogen, so it helps you adapt to the stress in life. Another great supplement that I love to use, I don't use it daily, but anytime I'm like feeling that anxiety, I'll do CBD oil. Now CBD oil there's a lot of different ones out there. The ones I recommend, we use one from Quicksilver Labs, and then most recently we've started using the one with the Wellness Way, which is super potent, and I really like that one a lot. But CBD oil, okay? You can get these supplements from us if you want. You just comment, we'll make sure you can get these things, the high potency organic products that we use. And then the final one, and this is like, hey, this one is like the big bang for your buck, one that you'll feel in the moment. It's like, honestly, it's like the first sip of wine. Like, it just calms the whole system. I'll even use this like if I'm hanging out with friends and I don't want to, I don't want to drink or anything, so I'll do a mocktail and I'll add this in there, and it's called kava, K-A-V-A. Kava is we use a high potency herb, and then you just drink a little bit of that and it will calm your nervous system like crazy. And the final herb that I recommend that I love, it really actually, believe it or not, doesn't do a whole lot for me because I don't think I have neurotransmitter issues, but it's California poppy. And if you have any kind of issues with neurotransmitters, it can be highly effective to help your body just calm and relax, okay? The final thing that I'm gonna recommend that you do is, if you really truly are dealing with anxiety, it's not just a worry about every so often about the future, but it's a regular basis anxiety. Get a stool test and get a food allergy test. Get your stool tested, find out what's happening in your gut. A huge part of your neurotransmitters stem from the digestive system. It could be a yeast overgrowth issue, it could be a parasite issue. Hey, you could have a bacterial infection, whatever that is, and it could be something very, a protocol we can get you on based on your test that will help you with anxiety. We see that over and over again. By cleaning out the gut and healing the leaky gut issues and restoring the digestive system, you're able to feel good again and not have anxiety. So remember, guys, there's so many things you can do, but those are what I do. That's what I've done personally, and I can testify to and seen done with patients that really truly does work for anxiety. All right, guys, you have an awesome day. Hey, if this encouraged you, if this is something that you learned something from, anxiety is a big deal. I mean, literally this ruins people's lives. So I encourage you to share this, be on this mission with us to really change the way people view and the way they manage their health, because there are other options, medications, and that stuff has every side effect you can think of. I won't go off on that right now. You guys have an awesome day.